Bam, bam, bam. He or she said, cancel this damn show. They hate it. What? Hold on. Wait a minute.
Make black hair great again.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Now,
We're coming. Get our check.
Cheryl Morrow, the one, the only, the hair oracle.
Well, it was Red Dot, and then we also had a cosmetology school instructor in the chat, Miss Denise West, Michelle Allen, Miss Foster. Dang, I missed your name. It's always nice to see Miss Foster in the chat. Michelle Allen, you know how much we love you too.
What? About a whole lot of peace. Cheryl, you order that in a bag of chips. Let me do your hair. Cheryl, can you believe we are not live, but we live 100.
Me and you live.
We live 176 episodes in. We're doing a remix. We're doing a remix on freedom of hair expression because we were having so many technical difficulties. And by the time you're watching this, I'm going to be in the Gambia. That's right. We are bringing Afro Hair Science to Gambia and Senegal. What do you think about that? Or as my granddad would say, how about them apples? Oh, a hand clap? Did someone say hand clap? Hold on. Wait a minute, chat. I know what y'all thinking. Ain't nothing changed because y'all ain't live. Hold on. Here we go. One more round of applause. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Yes. Princess Wave. Yes, I am. I said we because there's quite a few of us who's going to be going over to the Gambia. And this is our second cosmetology and educational endeavor. It's called Textures Intercultural Exchange 2025. So we pumped to be bringing Afro Hair Science to Senegal and Gambia. Remember when it was just in Cleveland?
It was just in Cleveland.
It was just in Cleveland. And then it went to Toledo. And then it went to Houston, H-Town. All right. And now we're going to the motherland. Did somebody say dream big?
Dream bigger.
When we dream bigger, Jigga. Y'all thought I was going to say something bad. Dream bigger, Jigga. We're talking about freedom of hair expression. We have so much freedom on hair expression that we're actually going to the motherland. So
motherland, West Africa. The Gambia, Senegal.
I know by then we would have interviewed Fatu. But what does it mean to you to be able, for me, because I'm representing, your education.
The whole thing. God damn.
It was like, hold up, y'all. Y'all ready? It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. The rapping Duke, hip hop, who would ever think Afro Hair Science would go this far? I got bars for the hair stars. They like, y'all know what? Kino just is crazy. But right quick, before we get into this wonderful episode of Freedom of Hair Expression, what does it mean to have your work, introduced and presented, and it's going to be used in the Gambia and Senegal, 2 countries.
The continent.
So we're on the continent, 2 countries. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, expansion is what we were born to do. We were born for it. I think it's just, I see once again, we talked about this last week, right? When we were talking about Black excellence, right, is the norm. And I think we were talking about with the barbers. And Black excellence is accepting, doing, being obedient, and just really accepting the assignment. This is what we're supposed to do. We're doing it. And so I thank you, sister, for carrying it on, because you got to get on a plane. You got to carry the whole load this time, baby. And you got to do it.
But you gave me the presentation. Now, y'all know know, sure to hook the presentation up. I'm gonna be up there like the hair code, y'all. I got my new vocabulary. I'm gonna be like the fake Cornel West. You know, Shirley call you the Cornel West. So I'm gonna be the fake Amos Wilson, Cornel West. What's my homegirl? Barbara Sizemore.
Besides,
I'm gonna be breaking
they
down
don't know
Cheryl
nothing about
Morrow
that.
like
They
y'all
don't know
best to
nothing
get
about
and we're
that.
gonna be live. So don't forget, it's gonna be live. So if you haven't seen it, go over to my Facebook page or go over to Gay Njoro. That's NJORRO Skills Academy. Anywho, you guys are gonna see it either way it goes. It's going down on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. We're gonna be like Chloe and Haley. We got hair everywhere, falling off the trees. You don't know about Chloe and Haley. That's a great song, by the way. So this topic is actually befitting for this endeavor, the Texas Intercultural Exchange. And so even though we are doing a remix on this because of technical difficulties, we're talking about the freedom of hair expression. And we started off with questioning you about the Crown Act. So, which by the way, we introduced it to the Cuyahoga County powers that be here in Cleveland a couple of weeks, maybe a little over a month ago. And we just found out yesterday that it actually passed. Okay. Hold on. Wait a minute. Excuse me. Fall down. Hold on. Wait a minute. One more. Okay. All right. Okay. So now we have to admit Cuyahoga County is a blue county.
It is.
So it's a blue county. And for those of you who don't know what blue means, that means it's Democrat.
It's
so
liberal.
we didn't have the Republicans that's stopping it. But here's the thing, and the freedom of hair expression, which is what our topic is, our 175th episode. I think that's right. We talked about, how do you see the future cosmetologist, natural hairstylists, barbers, hair professionals, even the lawyers, the lawmakers. Do you think they're going to be able to move the needle on this Crown Act? Because it's stuck. I mean, I looked online and I said, where will it go? And AI said, no damn where. Ain't going no damn where. Now that's what is
that what it said?
AI said it ain't going no damn where, killer. Get your ass on off. Go on back over there on the Afro Hair Science. Stop Googling. Stop the algorithms is saying nowhere. So Cheryl, we have to talk about this because when we talk about the dumbest shit that people say about the black hair, this Crown Act, we know it needs some work, but what do you think? What do you think? Like, can they do it? Will they be able to do it?
I believe it can. It depends on who's redoing, like redeveloping it, because our main impediment is dress codes. See, that is the problem. The Constitution is the problem. That's where we have the problem.
The Constitution, now come on now. Y'all hit that thumbs up button now. Just because come on now. She said the Constitution. You can't do the Constitution. They ain't gonna rewrite.
Of course you can. Of course you can. That's why it's called amendments. Of course you can.
I squeeze me, chat. That's why it's called amendment. So you want to amend? You think we should amend the Constitution for our hair?
I think but it's about people. One of the things about being in America, one of the things about it that makes America great, not again, but one of the fundamentals is that we embrace immigrants, right? And when you have immigrants, you have differences. And one of our great civil rights participants and citizens in this country is Jane Elliott. We must learn to embrace differences. However, but it allows us as Afrocentric, Afro-textured people to be able to change our method, to change our understanding of what we're really dealing with. And we're not dealing with acceptance. We're not dealing with culture acceptance. We're talking about the humanity and the biology and what makes us different, in that we do fit into the First Amendment. We do fit into the freedom of expression. We fit in there just with our biology, anatomy, and our humanness. And we have to get out of the business of fighting for culture, if that makes sense.
See, when we was live, I was kind of, I know the chat like, y'all lucky y'all lucky this is recording. I'm sorry, y'all, but we had to come back to it because here's the thing. Okay, so you're saying that, we got to get it out of the culture, right? Mm-hmm. But as I was saying before, is that even for me, that was one of my strong talking points to advocate, for this piece of legislation, is the importance of culture. And I do agree that the civil rights angle is not a good angle, only because hair is mutable. Like, it doesn't grow from our hair like the way your hairstyle is. Like, it's a hair, you can change that. And so I just wish they had not written it that way. And I feel like had they came to real people who do the work, I'm not, because they did consult with some cosmetologists. I think a more learned, for lack of better words, cosmetologist would have been able to tell them, you probably don't want to say that because the hairstyle creating a respectful and open world for natural hair, because like you said, they don't care about natural hair, but we're still using this culture. Even though I didn't think that was the best way, we're still, even me, holding on to culture. So I need you to just kind of explain to us why culture is not going to help in the argument of the Crown Act under the guise of civil rights, because you like freedom of expression, which I agree.
I like constitutional protection, not protection statutorily. I believe that my humanity, my biology, my anatomy is just as valid as anyone. How I style is where we're getting. It's the how I'm styling my hair. They want me because the style is mutable.
Right.
That's where we're getting caught up in. And so, but if I only lobby and I only ask for acceptance of my culture, customs, how I'm Black, how I'm different. I want to talk about how I'm the same. Does that make sense? I don't want to deal with the cultural aspect of how I style and why I style and why I need to style, because the Constitution protects dress codes. And so the how someone wants you to come to campus, how someone wants you to come to the workplace is protected by the Constitution. The entity can have how they want you to show up. The problem with how we think about that is that we want them to get into the weeds of how we need to feel proud of ourselves, how we need to be proud of our culture. And that's besides the point.
I know. We wish it wasn't so, don't we, guys?
Yeah.
We do.
And so we need to be able to express ourselves inside of the constitutional protection, just like everyone else does when they come to the country, regardless if they're immigrants and they become citizens in this new age and time and space that we're in, or if they were born here, and been here since they've been born. Mm-hmm. And so we believe that our First Amendment right, as freedom of expression, allowing religious protections, and inside of the religious protections, they are allowed to wear, their regalia. They are able to do such things that represent their worship and their faith. Well, we are saying we don't necessarily need to go that far. We are just a different cultural people, and we just have different customs under the freedom of expression. We're not looking for anybody to break their dress code or their work requirements, and how to show up. We're just, and if we are going to use a Crown Act, if we are going to use legislation, if we want statutory adjustments to it, well, we want to connect it to the First Amendment and to the cultural expression. That is a better argument. Also, we have a chance to make history here. We have a chance to make sure that length is not attached to class or gender, and to help the customs of white America, classism, racism, to deal with length as it's attached to a boy or a girl. Okay. And once we move and see, and that is what blue states do. They allow the rest of the world to kind of expand and become more attached to the majority in a progressive way than to try to appeal to minorities in a conservative way, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. So I hope you guys are getting I guess it's a cautionary tale of how the culture, using the culture can be like a double-sided thing. On one token, it definitely is going to appeal to the masses. It's more easier to digest, and it's definitely a lot more easier to regurgitate, because you could just say, this is our culture. We get a good argument going. However, then the constitutional part, where under the guise of freedom of expression, it never even comes into consideration. And in the meantime, we're just, over here like at the squawk box, culture, hair, natural. And meantime, the freedom of expression is like, if you just use us, we can help you. So I get it. And I hope that, people who are writing, the Crown Act, I know when I gave my testimony this time around, I made sure I kind of used that a little bit. You can check out my, as a matter of fact, the entire Reverence Design team, gave testimony for the Crown Act, and though we didn't use the slant on the Constitution's freedom of expression, I know I kind of squeezed it in there just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just something for you guys to think about. But now we have a bigger issue as we talk about this whole thing with, freedom of expression. We now have a kitchen cabinet. I know y'all call it the administration, but I affectionately call it the kitchen cabinet. So now we have a kitchen cabinet with, I got the name right, Mr. Pete Hegseth. I got it right, Pete. Pete, don't hate on me, Pete. So Mr. Pete Hegseth is saying that the kitchen cabinet is like, okay, Cheryl, I see where y'all coming with you and Kilola with them freedom of expression. However, that is not where the kitchen cabinet is going. So I'm going to play this clip from the kitchen cabinet, and I want you to speak directly to the future change agent, be it a cosmetologist, a barber, a natural hairstylist, or a lawmaker, and what are they going to do about the kitchen cabinet's current tone on, they're not calling it freedom of expression, they're calling it like, we don't care about nothing about y'all. This is how it's going down. Okay, so let's hear with Mr. Pete Hegseth. He is the head of the...
Yeah, he is the secretary.
He's the Secretary of Defense. Okay, here we go.
This also means grooming standards. No more beards, long hair. We don't have a military full of Nordic pagans. No more beardos. The era of rampant and ridiculous shaving profiles is done.
time I hear that, Nordic, what kind of a kitchen cabinet? However, let me not, because we only got so much time. I don't want to act a fool up in here. But so we have a kitchen cabinet that has that. That is just such a, that is so disrespectful. It's so, it's everything I could think of that I just can, I would never thought I would live to hear anything like this. But you know what your grandma say? Live long enough and you experience a bunch of I nevers, right? So, what are you gonna say? We don't have a whole bunch of time because we only got like 10 more minutes, okay? So, what are you gonna say to the future change agents about how to deal with the kitchen cabinet? Because even if once the kitchen cabinet, all of them come crumbling down, right? And they'll be replaced with some more cabinets, right? That doesn't mean it's going to go away because even if they get voted out, you're still going to feel some trickle down from this current, stack of cabinets. So, what are we going to say, or what do you recommend to the future change agents who's going to carry the torch on the Crown Act when you have issues or school of thoughts rather, like the current head kitchen cabinet, Pete Hegseth, who says no beer bros, no Nordic pagans. Oh my, I can repeating that shit. Anywho, that's some dumbest shit. That's the dumbest
It
shit
is dumb.
people say
It is.
about. That's some dumb shit. Okay, so what are you saying to the future change agents?
Get knowledgeable about the history of class. Get a history of what the codified language of certain terms. Get the history of classism and what he's basically trying to do and what are dress codes or codes, black codes, the black codes. What were the ruling class? What are they trying to say? Okay. And when you understand how that dovetails into the professionals of the industry that actually is in charge of implementing these changes, which is cosmetology and barbering. It's going to be the barbers in the military. But we are to deliver our professional opinion. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Once we obtain the history of class, the history of codes, the history of dress codes, the history of classism, we will begin to understand that we now have to develop our counter arguments, right? With facts, with logic, with rational, approaches, and then scientific logic in terms of how does that impede on our First Amendment rights, right? And because they are, now here's a word, because they are personnel, see, they're personnel. They are soldiers, but they're personnel, which means they are employed by the U.S. government. And so they are now given and handed down at the whim of this secretary. Okay. And so he wants to bring back, and it's ironic that, of course, he would mention Nordic because the most smallest minority of people on the planet are from Nordic countries, Denmark, Norway, stuff like that.
He's such a neo maxi zim dweeby old motherfucker plucker. I ain't cuss.
And so for him to use that, and that's that feral Viking, really, really weird, aggressive looking.
That machismo, that.
And I don't know how that is applied to women.
Yeah, well, he don't care about women. He's already made that clear.
Yeah.
But you said that the future generation of change agents have to use facts, scientific logic, and rationale. Now we got one last talking point before we wrap this up. But where would they go? Because they say, well, listen here, I don't have the vocabulary and vernacular of the hair oracle, and I don't have, the legal ease of a lawmaker or, a lawyer or whatever. but I'm a hairstylist, I know a little something. So where would they go to get some of this historical? Like you said, we got to use some a little bit of history, of course. But in addition to the history, the facts, the scientific logic and rationale, could you point them in the direction of where they can go to help, change that narrative around the Crown Act and the freedom? Because of course, that's all about the freedom of hair expression. Where could they go before we hit our last point?
Yeah, they can study some case law in especially of the uprising of the 60s, and when people were trying to really come out, and the hippie generation, the flower power, make love not war, Jesus, Jesus Christ Superstar, that whole hair era. They can start with that, and then and I'll be honest, and I know no one talks about the plantation like we do, but everything that this country is about in terms of codes, dress codes, and classism comes out of the plantation, especially the plantation era. And so,
Yeah.
right. And so when we understand how barbering and hairstyling fits into that, okay, and how clothing and how hair laws and the Tesian law and things of that nature, how all of these things develop in history, okay? And then we do have a smoking gun. The military has accommodated certain different people of other ethnic groups because their biology, though it is human, though it is like them, and they are like us, humanly, what they're saying is they want to make the restrictions so minuscule that the grander part of the human population has to. That's what ruling classes does. That's what a does. They want to make sure that everyone fits into their idea of what a soldier is supposed to look like.
It has such that, it's like we're going back. Remember Kamala was saying, we're not going back. Well, look at this, damn it. Now our asses is going back to the aristocracy. That's what this sounds like. Like we're out here like in the...
It's what it's about. That's exactly what classism is about. And when they say going back to a simpler time, when life is simple, or they're going back to the 50s, that's all of the codified language that we have to understand what they are saying without saying it. We have to be one step ahead because we can't create the legalese if we don't really fundamentally understand what they're talking about.
All right. So we have to go to history. And let me just say this for real, guys. When you guys are giving testimony, it's impossible to not give testimony or contribute, your thoughts, or even if you're going to type something, and give the lawmaker something to say or to write about without going to history, using history. So if you're going to be a change agent in any capacity in our industry to help move that needle on the Crown Act, it's imperative that you use history, because I know in your book, Cheryl, Beauty and Myth, Why Black Women Can't Keep the Hair They Grow, right? And then you have my book, What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon. Shameless plugs, y'all better get our books, okay? And then the last book that I love to promote is, of course, Styling Jim Crow, which I keep this shit on deck, Negro.
No doubt.
All right. I keep my shit on deck. And I said it once, I'm going to say it again. If you are any type of a change agent in our industry, you don't have this book, shame on you, but get the book, okay? Especially if you want to be that advocate, for policy and change or whatever. These things are very, very important. You don't necessarily have to get our book. We was just, let me put it up here again, Yeah. We're not just saying you have to get Beauty and Myth, or you have to get What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon. But for sure, if you are about being a part of that change in any way that you want to contribute in writing or whatever, you want to do some reels or some sizzles or whatever, get this book, because we're going to help you with your conversations. Like Cheryl said, we have to keep pointing to the history to help people like, Mr. Hegseth, who don't really give a poop about culture. She just told you, don't try that one with them because that ain't gonna work. But you could use some history to help you with your conversation if you want to move that needle as we talk about freedom of hair expression. And now we have approximately what we got here now. Okay, we got a cool 7 minutes. All right, so with these 7 minutes, I want you to wrap it up because you said something on the live that had me like, damn, sure. Always
What?
Shit, all right. You said number one, we have to redefine natural hair.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. Put it up here. Hold on, because I keep my notes. Y'all know Key Lolo. I'll be sure try to come back. Ready for her ass. Okay. So you said why we have to redefine natural hair, right? And
Yes.
then you said we have to take natural hair out of civic, and you concluded with what you started off in the beginning. See how I put this in? She didn't know I was going to do this, y'all. I keep telling y'all, she don't have a clue of what the hell I'm going to do. But because I know her so well, like them curls on the back of her neck, that's me. That's me. Look at me back there. Turn your head to the side so you can see me back there. There I am. There I am. Okay. All cloned up on Cheryl's curls on the back of her neck called the kitchen. You started us off with at the beginning is that we have to put ourselves in the Constitution. So if you can walk us through, I ain't gonna even say nothing. In 7 minutes, I'm gonna say, start off with we have to redefine natural hair. Why did you say that was important? Number two, you said, and take hair out of civic. And that's so hard because we was all in the culture. Stop doing that shit. We got to stop it, y'all. But hers going to help us out. Okay, she's going to help us out. And then you're going to take it back in full circle, which is how you started off with, the freedom of expression and putting ourselves in the Constitution. So you got a nice 7 minutes starting off with, I thought this was bold when you said we have to redefine natural hair. Girl, let me take a drink. Because this was my thought, y'all. Before she gets started on redefining natural hair, this is why I said, sure, you know what? This is what everybody gonna say. I'm talking about some redefining natural hair.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Well, let's have fun as we go up. 3 points. We have to redefine natural hair. And second one up. Okay. Take natural hair out of civic and put ourselves in Constitution. Okay.
Well, one of the things that as Black people, cosmetology, probably within the last 25 years, was treated as if we don't know what natural hair is. And so natural hair created a subgroup called natural hair.
That's the dumbest shit. Can we get serious? I'm sorry, y'all.
Yeah. Okay. And so we have to make sure that all of us, stylists, barbers,
natural hairstylists, locticians, all of
us have to
trichologists,
every one of them. We got to get on the same page. And when we say natural hair, what do we mean? Now, case in point, do you guys remember maybe about 20 years ago, we started this phrase? Ma'am, how can I help you? I want some hair. Okay, what kind of hair? 100% human. Now, the moment we said that, I want y'all to come in close. Come in. I want y'all to listen. When we said that, whose hair did we mean?
I ain't never worn no wig, but
when we said 100% human, in our mind's eye, in the customer's eye, and in the salesperson's eye, what do you think? Whose hair did they mean?
Wigs.
No, they meant straight hair.
Okay.
They meant our mind said, because in our mind, if the hair was 100% human, right? And if you guys remember Good Hair, the movie, the Asian man said, oh, no, they don't want that hair. Okay. And so instantly we removed Black people's hair out of the human family because it didn't mean human. Human only meant Asian, Indian, Latino, straight hair. When we said 100% human, we just meant it should come from a human being. But we were never the human being that we were talking about.
So how are we using that to redefine natural hair then?
So when we redefine a word, we have to get all on the same point about we need to include us into that humanness when we talk about natural hair. Not natural hair as a movement, but natural hair as human.
Oh, I like that. I like that. That ain't no dumb shit right there. That's real talk. Okay. That deserves. I know if our virtual co-host Weekay and Sandra was in the chat, they would say this.
Stop. Hammer time.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So when other humans they don't have the luxury to be thinking that deep into who's human and what we say, because if an Indian woman wanted to wear an afro and an Italian person wanted to wear an afro, they would not necessarily say human hair. They would say afro hair. But Black women made it a thing about requesting 100% weaved hair, 100% human. They wanted it to come from a human. And what I'm saying is that once we don't ever have a think tank to sit down and to define what natural hair is, we should be simplifying it so minuscule, so micro, down to the very fact that we're human. Not that we're explaining a subculture that has something to do with the way we style and the way we do that. We
just be getting off. We be getting a little saucy.
We get all
you know.
confused.
Calm down, Black women. We done messed it up again. Damn.
Right.
Okay.
And then we are frustrated when we have to get so much backlash, right? And kickback, right? When we get so much resistance, guess what we say? The hair that grows out of our head. Well, then why didn't you just say human?
I tried to tell y'all didn't want to listen to me. I told y'all stop saying that dumb shit. Damn. Now we got to go through it, but we got to do it. We're gonna have to redefine natural hair. We're gonna have to do that because
what is it? And then we should come to the conclusion when we say human hair, then the conversation gets connected with European hair, Indian hair, Malaysian hair, Indonesian hair, Latino hair, and then African. Then it's all human hair. Okay, now we're back into human rights. That's what I'm trying to get back into it. And so and it's also when I say redefine it, I want us to get on a think tank and stop subgrouping ourselves out so we can stop being weirdos and outliers. We're not outliers. We're just African descending human beings. That's the point.
We're not outliers. Stop calling us that.
Right. Yeah.
Eccentric, eclectic.
Right. And because scientifically, because we're the oldest human beings on the planet, our hair is truly human hair. It does not have any phenotype trait or attribute or feature that even comes close to looking like any other hair on the planet. And so we really got to embrace our humanness when we talk about our hair. And that's all I got to say about that.
Okay,
Next.
All right. Okay. That was a cool 7 minutes. I don't know if you know that. We're supposed to have 7 minutes for all three, but we got 7 minutes. Okay, so let's wrap it up. Let's stretch it out. We're going to get 2 minutes on each one here. So the next one is take natural hair out of civic.
Right. And that just simply means that civil rights is rights given upon a particular entity, human being, or personhood that is from one group to another group. It is an endowment, right? Meaning that because it was once restricted, and now that the person who was used to be restricting it now is allowing you to do it. So therefore it becomes like even if it gets ratified by the Constitution, now it's on the books. And because this is where their history lesson, this is where Dr. Amos Wilson would say, know the nature of the thing that you are opposing. Just know the nature of it, where it starts, where it dates. 1865 is where the Black Codes started to 1868, and then the 14th Amendment came, and I think in 1868, right? Just know where the nature of your problem is starting, and that is where the civic. But if we deal with the human element, okay, and we have a conversation about the humanness of Black people's hair and scalp and blah, 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 even though it is phenotypically different, it appears different, the optical of it is different, doesn't mean it's a variation of the human being. But yet, when we redefine what that is, we now can say it's not a right, it's a human right. It's not a civic right. It's not a civil right.
Right, because hair, and that goes back to putting hair on the human. Because when you do the civic, it's almost like we're inanimate, like it's an object, or what they call it. Okay, all right, okay, that was good. Okay, so now the last 2 minutes, all right, is we have to put ourselves in the Constitution. I'm just looking at the time here, so that's fine.
Yes, absolutely. And so it's just basically tying those other two together, and then coming to the court, coming to the legislature, right? And using the language of the two prior points to be able to align it with the amendments that allow religious freedoms. Freedoms to express oneself, all of the things in talk
that are associated with being a human being. I just want to put that. Can I interject that? I hope you guys are listening. This is technical, but you do understand she's turning us back into human beings.
Right. They're right. And so, and that dovetails into an approach that when we are doing our hair, we are doing the same thing as people when they wear a sari or a payo or anything that Muslim people or Sikhs tend to. We are honoring our humanness and our right to express ourselves under the First Amendment, right? And so we're now getting into constitutional protections and not trying to appeal civically about a protective hairstyle, which is mutable.
All right.
We're trying to get into the immutable portion of the Constitution. Yeah.
That's pretty powerful. All right. I think we did a really good job in 45 minutes. We got 2 minutes to spare. Okay, I think we did. Okay, hold on. If you really like this, I think Cheryl took us all the way through. She did a really good job on our 176th episode about freedom of hair expression. And I think you guys got a really good earful. So what we need you to do, guys, right now, Cheryl, show them what they need. Let me take this banner down. What they need to do to help change the narrative about freedom of expression. Sure, it's gonna show y'all what y'all need to do, and all y'all have to do is do this. Come on, y'all, do it right now. Do that right there. Yeah, all All right. And I'm just going to play this one last clip about us, I have recorded this before I saved it. It's just about us working together, like we're all in this together. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to take us out. Okay. So here we go. Here we go right here.
But that didn't supersede the major contradiction of how the capitalist ruling class was treating all of us down on the ground, and that the only way forward would have been unity. And I think he was always, in his writings and his application, was always pushing that idea. We were pushing that idea. That's the only way out of this whole situation, is for us to unify. And divide and conquer only serves Caesar.
All right, you guys got that? So we're going to change. That came from the Real News right here on YouTube. If we're going to help change the narrative about the freedom of hair expression, you know, like you said, we gotta unite. You got to understand that, like Cheryl said, you got to go back, do that history, learn about those Black cultures. You got to do it. Get y'all books and everything to help your conversation, so you're not just out here talking about some. It's for the culture. It's for the culture. That's not going to save us. All right. But if you want to just help save some more people, then don't forget we are still raising money. That's right. I'm going to be traveling to the Gambia. Look at the classroom, guys. To the Dosha, right? That's our wall of fame, a wall of honor. I'm sorry. At the Gay and Joe Skills Academy. We've got Cheryl's dad on there and all that other good stuff. Okay. So I'm going to be there. But if you want, you can screenshot the Cash App if you would like to donate to the Right Library of the Gay and Joe Skills Academy. This is our Tap Black Give Back campaign. You can scan and share with your friends. There's no amount that's too small. There's definitely ain't one that's too large. I just want to say that. And all of the proceeds go to the Gay and Joel Skills Academy, the Right Library. And so so far we are up to $700. So we can do that. So if you want to give a little bit more to help us take some more money over there, then by all means, tap Black and give back and donate now to the Right Library of the Gay and Joe Skills Academy and by Joe Gambia and Fatu, and the lovely students will surely appreciate your donation. So there it is right there. Okay. And I think that's it. So we're going to be back next Monday with another pre-recorded session. Right, Cheryl?
That's right. That's right. We ain't gonna let you down.
We ain't gonna let you down. We have another pre-recorded session, and I think that's it. So you know what we're saying when we're signing out, right? We're always talking about a whole lot of peace, a whole lot of love, and for sure a whole lot of hair. But check it out. Remember, if you ain't got none, don't want none, can't grow it, you got some bald spots, whatever. I don't care about none of that because I don't particularly care for hair. We say don't even worry about that because all of that is beautiful too, and so are you. Thank you so much, Cheryl, for this pre-recorded session on the Afro Hair Science YouTube. This is America's favorite podcast about Afro. We're talking about the dumbest shit that people say about Afro hair. All right, here goes this dumb shit. The dumb shit. Listen to this.
This also means grooming standards. No more beards, long hair. We don't have a military full of Nordic pagans. No more beardos. The era of rampant and ridiculous shaving profiles is done.
That's the dumbest shit. The dumbest shit. That's the dumbest shit I ever heard. All right, hit that thumbs up button, okay? All right, y'all. Love, peace, and hair grease. All right, good night. Sure, you ready for the chit chat tonight?
I'm ready.
Bam, bam, bam. He or she said, cancel this damn show. They hate it. What? Hold on. Wait a minute.
Make black hair great again.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Now,
We're coming, get our check.
Cheryl Morrow, the one, the only, the hair oracle.
I think it was Red Dot, and then we also had a cosmetology school instructor in the chat, Miss Denise West, Michelle Allen, Miss Foster. Dang, I missed your name. It's always nice to see Miss Foster in the chat. Michelle Allen, you know how much we love you too.
What? About a whole lot of peace. Cheryl, you order that in a bag of chips.